Alright guys, what's going on? Welcome back to some... Dude, I almost said Minecraft. What the hell is wrong with me? Welcome back to some more Iron Man. This is mining level 87. I cannot stop coming here. But once again, I'm going to take this as a sign that I need to leave. Every time I get a level, that's a nice reminder that I've been here for too long. I think getting 86 mining, I was like 9 hours of progress away from getting 87. So yeah, let's just say I come here often. So today we are going to continue on the momentum of last video. We unlocked, amongst other things, dueling rings. I know that probably isn't the most standout of an accomplishment from last video, but it is going to help me to bank pen. It is going to help me continue to do a bunch of quests. And if you look at my skills tab, you'll notice a glaring hole in my skills. I mean, construction's not real, but farming is, and it is level 1. So I've devised an ultimate plan to get my farming from level 1 to 35, and that's going to require, maybe 5 or 6 quests? I can't quite remember, but that's what I'm going to get started into the beginning of today's video. I need to get my farming up for the Slayer Helm requirement, aka the Black Mask. I think you need somewhere along the lines of mid-50s farming to do a particular portion of that quest. So today we're going to make some progress in that department and chain together a bunch of quests that I should be able to do one after the other. And what this will be able to do is allow me to get my farming up without actually needing to plant anything. So hopefully by the time I actually plant a tree or something, I can plant something semi-respectable. But anyway, we're going to get started into the first quest of the chain. Honestly, I've written it down somewhere, but I forget what it is. But I'm going to do that quest and report back when it's finished. I'm glad I write all of these quests down, because if I had to go off of memory, I would have done so many irrelevant quests. But we started off with Nature's Spirit, which was a prerequisite for the Fairy Tale Part 1 quest. We didn't get too unlucky on the items, and Avanto was probably the most egregious, but we just went to Nada and paid the NPC there 200 coins to clean it for us. Getting a little bit of magic experience while we go to and fro. But yeah, Nature's Spirit and Fairy Tale Part 1 were pretty easy. And getting those magic secateurs, of course, meant that Tanglefoot was about to get his shit stomped in. I initially went for a flinching method, but then quickly discovered that if I just one-tick prayer flick, like, it's literally impossible to die, and it's probably way faster. At this point, I also graduated from using ultimate strength and the attack buff, instead using piety. But yeah, Fairy Tale Part 1, even with one farming, was a piece of piss. We then got into the Giant Dwarf quest, and this quest line I totally forgot about. I encountered a glitch as well where I couldn't use my, or I could use my High Alchemy spell rather, but it said that I couldn't until I did it. I did some PvP arena for future imbues, and when I came back that bug was present. I thought that was interesting, but got a bunch of experience from the Giant Dwarf. Unfortunately, all I got out of it was a Firemaking level, but that is a-okay. I then went off to get some smithing up whilst I was in the area. I feel like I just neglect this skill in general, so while I had the bug to train it, I did some superheating with the spell until 45, and then I realized I could use the blast furnace and just did that to 50, but we then chained that into Forgotten Tale. This quest was also a pain in the ass. I had to grow a bunch of things, but at least we got some farming experience from it. And there seems to be a trend with these farming quests that you end up needing to grow something and play the patience game, which is a game I'm terrible at. I had some problems with this this vampire here, but Matty P clutched up. He helped me out, bro. I was so confused on how to solve this, quote unquote. I wanted to trap the vampire behind an allotment, but I just couldn't do it. So that was a very big hero moment from Matty there. But we finished the quest. Moving on to the Garden of Tranquility, which got us a nice hefty boost, allowing us to do the Garden of Death. And all in all, 35 farming from that chain. Very, very happy with that. I then retreated back to my hometown and did some rifting. We are now sitting at 77 rune crafting. So now I'm at the point where I'm like, do I need to do Sins of the Father? Because it just feels terrible not being able to craft blood runes, but at least we can still do the deaths. Okie dokie, I have decided I'm going to leave this place. I'm probably going to inevitably show my face around here again, but for the time being, we're going to hit the old dusty trail. Because I've done Fairy Tale Part 1 and I don't have fairy rings and we're like 9 episodes into an Iron Man series, I probably need to do that part. That's something that can generally be done within a day. It's not because I'm not capable of doing it, I've just been procrastinating, alright? That's my excuse and I'm going to stick to it. Fortunately, with the requirements for Fairy Tale Part 2 being ridiculous, I'd need 49 farming and 57 herb lore, which is very much warranting of procrastination itself. That would normally mean that I couldn't do anything productive right now, but to actually unlock the fairy rings, I don't need those skill requirements. I just need to begin the quest and get to the point where the fairy rings are unlocked, which is just an absolute godsend. If I was required to get those prerequisites, we would just be walking everywhere for a very long time. 57 herb lore in particular is just a grind I am not ready to do right now. Unfortunately, I was meant to go and do some Guardians of the Rift pulls just now. I was meant to get a bunch of pearls and perhaps get the hat, I think is the last component that I require, but I totally forgot that and just teleported away. But a nice little backup strat is that I need to wait 5 minutes after I talk to Martin here, so that's what I guess I'll do. I'll start the quest and then I'll go back to where I needed to be before I exited Guardians of the Rift. My minigame teleport is available, so a nice little blessing here that I have to wait 5 minutes, because otherwise I would have been a little bit more aggravated. The only problem I have is that getting back to Draenor is just not a fun time. Like, I don't have a glory amulet, and like the closest TP I have might be like just Port Sarim, like pest control teleport, which is unreliable. And what I did just now was go to my house, and honestly, for like a teleport that I could use over and over again, I think my house is the closest to Draenor I can get. But anyway, we're going to do approximately 100 pulls, see how many pearls we can get, and see whether or not we'll have enough for the hat. Wait, I just went to pause my recorder and I got the Abyssal Blue die. Okay, we take those for sure. Okie dokie, this looks to be the last remaining pulls that we have. 200 pearls to our name from that short little stint. Oh my goodness, what is going on here? These intricate pouches are popping off. Another little booster herb lore. A second dragon medium helm to look like a Chad. Not wearing a helmet right now, so maybe I will need to wear it. We need 400 pearls from memory to get the hat, and currently we are very much shy. But with the addition of this die that we just obtained, I think these can be traded in for 50 pearls. If these two dies were enough to get me across the line to get to 400, I probably would trade them in, but I don't think I'm going to get enough. Let's see. 50 abyssal pearls. Okay, so 100 additional pearls in the back pocket if I ever get close enough to 400, but I think for now I will sit pretty. The set bonus from this outfit is absolutely insane, and even though the dyes are like, they look kind of swag, I really would just prefer to have the 60% extra runes crafted, because that, I mean, if you've been playing this game for a while, like, you just get 60% more runes when rune crafting. Like, that is absurd shit. So I want that, obviously. So I would be happy to like sacrifice a bit of a drip upgrade, but for now they can sit pretty and safe in the bank. What is that, my first astral runes? I guess that's pretty cool. But I think our 5 minutes is up now. I need to go back to Draenor and rendezvous with Martin. I am in serious need of a drip upgrade. I needed to get my graceful just now or something, because I just look hideous. Alrighty, a few steps later, we have obtained the fairy rings. I'm going to continue this little part of the quest. I'm not sure if I'm like locked at any point, but I'm going to do the part where I need to do the combination and then peace out from there, I think. I just want to not have to do this when I ever do decide to come back, but considering the fact that I will need those prerequisites from earlier, like, oh my goodness, like, I will see you in a year, Fairy Tale Part 2, but I think from here, what I need to do is combine these fairy rings with a transportation that is close to a fairy ring, of course, and what other better than the episode 1 equivalent achievement of getting the Artie Cloak number 1. I got the Rusty Sword portion of the quest complete, or the achievement diary, rather. So I think that's the one that's the most annoying, so I'm glad I ticked that off, but this in general shouldn't take too long. But between having fairy rings and an Artie Cloak TP, we're looking good for a single digit episode Iron Man episode. I know some of you are starting to believe I'd never get these done, but this is going to be a pivotal moment in the account's history. There is the RD Cloak one. This is like, I don't know, one of the best items in the game, bro. Not going to lie, like in terms of like value, like you get it so early, there's so much utility, like absurd amount of utility, and it looks pretty good on top of that. And we also get ourselves a pretty little herblore lamp. They might as well just call them herblore lamps at this point, but there is 40 herblore complete. A nice little milestone there. We can now clean up the irits, but the plan I have right now, we're going to tie up some loose ends. I need to get myself 49 firemaking for Tears of Guthix, and then we can get some tears to get some construction experience. It might be worth actually training this manually, perhaps. You know what? I might actually do that. I'm going to teleport to the Barbarian Assault, collect a bunch of planks towards the agility training area, and maybe get like 30 or something. I think the Tears of Guthix rewards, they cap out at 30, so any skill higher than 30 isn't going to get more experience at the end of the week, as opposed to a skill that is level 30. So if I shoot for 30 as the goal, we could probably achieve that quite quickly. Maybe I could make some oak planks, but no matter what the method I use right now, we're going to be using mahogany homes. I think it's either way, any way you slice it, we're going to get 30 quickly. From there, I want to get my farming up to 49 for the quest itself, and I might even get it to 50 just for the unlock of Wintertot. But I think I'll keep it at that for now. I've got definite plans that I want to do afterwards, but I don't want to like say too much too fast. But I've got a lot of loose ends that I need to complete this video, but I also want to make some progress considering that I got the lantern last episode, which is actually huge for the account, and it's a good motivator to train my firemaking. But we'll get into that when it's necessary. For now, I need to pick up some planks. Okie doke, the planks have been acquired. I've just done a couple of contracts here, and dude, this is absurd. Construction is easy as shit to train, apparently. I was thinking I could train up my construction so I get extra experience during firemaking at Wintertot, because I believe when you repair the braziers, you get like X amount of multiplier based on your construction level. But this is absurdly easy. I'm going to be getting so many levels right now, but there is 20, and we have now unlocked the adept contracts. Whatever is after beginner, we'll be firing into those. I am like 5-10 minutes into this, and I've gotten 7 levels. So what is that? Novice. Okay, I was going to say adept sounds a little too advanced, especially for just being level 20 construction, but I'm going to get stuck into this grind. I am not going to stop at 30. Let's just put it that way. I've got myself 600 oak planks here. I only used, I don't even know, less than 50 regular planks to get to this point. But yeah, I'm going to get busy making some houses nice and pretty. I'll be back in a little bit. I have no idea why I've been procrastinating this skill so much. This has been ridiculous, I suppose. I don't know if it's just because it's a low level, it probably is a lot of that, or having the resources ready to go, but my goodness, 50 construction has not taken long at all, and it's been a pleasant little source of dopamine. I never thought I'd get dopamine overload from training construction. It's not even a real skill, but now that we are encroaching on the level itself, it's made me think, okay, if we can do this nice and quickly, what else can we do quickly? Because with Tears of Guthix being on the cards, how do I want to allocate those experience points? And to me, if I can get it on, say, maybe farming or herblore, I think that would be ideal. So we're going to take advantage of that fact that Tears of Guthix can give me some free XP, and the way we're going to do that is by training all the other skills higher than it. But there is the 50 construction done, so that is where I'm going to park things for now. We can now use the teak logs in the future. I'll probably end up using the kingdom to get those logs, but we're gonna put that one in the garage for a while. But I'm gonna get stuck into some firemaking. We've got a few levels we need to get, and after that, I suppose we'll be hunter, because I think both of those should be relatively easy to get up, but farming and herblore, I shudder at the thought of trying to train those without free experience. I'm not entirely sure why I was inspired to firemake in Sears Village, but whilst I was here, I noticed that a forestry thing was going down, and I ended up just deciding to stay here until I got to 5,000 anima. And I believe this is what is required to get the log basket, which is something I've never purchased before, but there is 50 firemaking complete. We no longer need to burn logs like a chum. I did a little bit of the bonfire burning, but you get really heavily reduced rates. It's probably good for like using mobile, because like manually firemaking on a mobile phone is terrible, as you're probably aware of if you've ever tried it. But I think I just had the sunk cost fallacy during this forestry escapade, because like I got halfway to the log basket and I really wanted to leave. There's so much I want to do right now. The last thing I wanted to do was stay and chop maple logs, but we stuck it out. We've got enough to purchase the log basket. All I need to do now is get some oak logs and willow logs, and I'll be able to buy it whenever. But I might procrastinate that for now, because currently I'm not going to do any more wood cutting, but it is good to know that I can buy this whenever I like. If I just look at my logs now, I don't think I've got much in terms of oaks left over, and willows, I'd be very surprised if there's anything hectic in there. So enough firemaking and wood cutting for now. It is time to go and do some hunter. When I recorded that last clip, my intention was to go to bed and do hunter in the morning, but I ended up wood cutting for a little bit longer, and we ended up getting the logs required. There's no way I can 3-tick and do commentary at the same time. Oh my goodness, even with a metronome, I'm too impatient. But I guess that's the theme entirely right now, because I couldn't wait to get my log basket. I also couldn't wait to get 80 wood cutting. I'm pretty happy with that. That doesn't really unlock anything, but it looks quite nice in the stat tab. But now that that is done, I have given myself permission to go and buy myself the log basket. This will come in handy when I am gathering teak logs. We're a little bit away from that, but I'll be prepared for when we do, which is nice. Hopefully we buy the right thing. Let's go the log basket. It looks like it like remembered what I clicked on before, which is interesting. Buy one of these bad boys. I don't know if there's anything else apart from forestry that I would really like. I guess I could do some research, but from what I'm aware of, this is the most like bang for your buck item you can get from it. And forestry, to be honest, is a bit weird. It's a bit bloated and strange. They've made some changes to it, but it still feels very, very weird. It's okay, I guess, but it's a strange event. I don't know if I can wear it. Can I wear this thing? Oh, I thought I had to upgrade it to wear it. That's kind of cool. And a little, it's not really a basket. It's just kind of like a, I don't know, little bit of material or something, but it'll get the job done. This thing holds 28 logs, and when I'm gathering any logs in particular, this essentially doubles my inventory, which is huge. It seems like a worthwhile investment, especially for like banking construction experience. But anyway, on to hunter. Like I said before, I'm actually going to go to bed this time. Alrighty, good morning. This is an interesting level here. I've been sitting on the level up screen for a while. My things are about to despawn, fantastic. But we're doing some hunter in the Mauritania swamp, hitting level 38. But more importantly, we have just reached 1428 total. Now, this number is not going to mean a whole lot to a lot of you, but it means a little bit to me. In my final episode that I uploaded of version 1 of this series, 1427 was the final total level that I ever showed. So to hit this at episode 9 is kind of, I don't know, bittersweet, I guess, but we have technically surpassed where we once were. Although I must admit the stat distribution was a little more favorable on the other one. We'd just gotten our Abyssal Whip. We were actually the first Ironman account, like, ever to get an Abyssal Whip, which is a great achievement, but I think it definitely contributed towards me burning out. So whilst I was satisfied to get that drop and to have the levels that I did inevitably end up burning out, and I must say I'm definitely enjoying this account much more than I was back then. I'm definitely, in terms of from like a YouTube perspective, going at my own pace a bit better. But yeah, I don't know. It's a weird moment right now, but 1428 is done. Off to bigger and better things. For those who are interested in the old series, I did end up playing that account a lot more. However, a lot of the recordings are on an old hard drive that I don't even know if it exists anymore. And I had so many episodes banked up, and it was too much. I could not sort it all out. It was just too hectic, and I guess the cards fell down. So here we are once again, 9 years later, trying to repeat the process, but I think we'll be a bit more better off this time around. And this is a step in that direction. So anyway, cheers to 38 Hunter. Alright, we are closing in on the final Swamp Lizard to go to level 40. I was just going to like do a little transition between 40 and 43, but we can now do 3 traps at a time. And from looking at things here, these 3 traps are decently spaced, but I believe if I go a little to the east, look at that. Isn't that just better? That's just objectively closer together, isn't it? So I'm going to switch to this little spot here. And unfortunately, I only have to get 3 more levels. This is so fast. I guess the whole thing with construction being super quick, it might just have to do with the fact it was like level 13. That might be a problem. That ghast, oh my goodness. But yeah, Hunter is just flying by. I've procrastinated so many things that are so easy to fix. This is how I'm getting my total level up so fast. I probably didn't do this in the first series. But if this ghast continues to annoy me, I might even have to go back. We'll see. I haven't brought any food with me, so if my health points reach a critical level, I might have to go back to the west. But hopefully these things de-aggro after 10 minutes. I'm not sure how they work, to be honest, but with an aggression timer ticking down, if I can survive for 9 minutes, I'm sure I'll be able to get to 43 nice and safely. Alright, fortunately, after the 10 minutes were up, the ghast stopped nibbling at my butt cheeks, but there is 43 Hunter, which means we can now do spotted cabbits, and unfortunately, we're going to have to leave this place. I'm enjoying all these lower levels, and I kind of just want to stay here, but it would be irresponsible of me. So the plan now is to I guess I've been thinking, I should say. When I went to bed last night, I was thinking what I wanted to do. I mentioned that either farming or herb law is how I want to allocate my tiers of Guthix experience, but I think last night I reflected on things, and I definitely would like to use my tiers of Guthix experience on herb law. And farming, I don't have really any supplies to train it right now, so I'm going to do the unimaginable. I'm going to train at Tithe farm with the lowest level seeds, which require level 34 farming. We did get a farming level from a forestry event, so we're now at level 36, but if I like go into my bank and type in the word seed, like this is what I have to my name, so it's absolutely abysmal. We're going to do Tithe farm and maybe stock up on some points so we can use the points for rewards later. You can get a lot of handy stuff. You can now get the herb sack and the seed box from that place, and auto weed as well would be nice. I'm hoping that I get points that at a similar rate regardless on whether or not I'm a lower level farming. But honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if I get a little bit punished for using the lower level seeds, but all I realistically need to do is get my farming level above my herb law. So when I do the Tears of Guthix mini quest, or the mini game, I should say, it goes into that skill. What is that? What is going on over here? There's like a Guardians of the Rift portal that spawns. Anyway, so I'm going to go off to the Tithe farm. It's a lower level, my farming level, so it shouldn't be too bad. We're going to get stuck into things. Hopefully I can elk in that arena, or whatever you'd like to call that thing, because getting passive magic experience throughout all of these different skilling grinds is definitely helping out a lot. Sitting at 74 magic, if we can elk, we will definitely get 75, and we've already hit the 70 threshold for bursting, but any level from now on is just a bonus. So I'm going to head to the Tithe farm, use the most efficient tiles possible to get there, and hopefully get some points. Dude, I've recorded quite a few different takes of this. Oh my god, I just cannot get it right. But we've just finished a cycle here, and we're going to restart things. I probably waited a little too long. It's going to be a little bit hairy, but this is the general process. You want to put your seeds in the top left of your inventory, and then just water them as you go along. Ignore the fertilizer. I don't believe that really does anything useful in terms of how much time it takes to utilize it, so don't have to worry about that. Just grab an absolute piss ton of seeds so you never run out, and simply just zigzag up in this same pattern that I'm using. And when we get to the end of the cycle, we're going to refill our watering cans. So you probably don't need to bring like 12 watering cans with you. I mean, it's personal preference. I like having excess, and considering that I'm pretty prone to accidentally high elking shit in my inventory, it's probably good to have a backup supply, but it looks like I'll end up trying to elk the fertilizer. I generally do that little flick to the left. I don't know what that is. My brain is degrading with age, I suppose. But now that we are towards the end of the cycle, I'll show you where I like to fill my watering cans up. If you're short for time, you want to do this actively, like you want to actively click on the watering can each time and then click on the barrel. But I think for this particular cycle, I've been relatively efficient. Believe it or not, I have done this before. Going to use the watering can on the water barrel, and we'll just let this passively fill up. You can elect to do like 1 or 2 more plants here, but this place is kind of like a juggling act, and if one of the balls fall, they're all going to fall down as well. So I'm going to keep it chill, just use these 4 patches as opposed to anything additional. In general, this isn't going to be great experience. I don't expect it to be at 34. Probably like, you know, relatively inefficient, but everything just feels so meaningful on this account. I don't think I can put it into words that you will appreciate unless you've felt it for yourself. But even doing level 1 tithe farming feels so impactful right now. So I'm like passionate about doing this. There will be a future where I despise this content and I never want to come back here again. But right now, I just want to stay here until I have every single reward. But I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be psychotic. All I need to do is get my farming level high enough so Herblore is the skill that my Tears of Guthix experience will go into. So that will be the goal for now. Alrighty, so just finishing up on our final inventory of our fruit collecting adventure. We managed to get around 500 of the fruits. I set in my head maybe 1,000, but we're almost 2 hours into this, and if I stay here for another 2 hours, I won't want to come back. Like, it's still somewhat fresh, I can still tolerate it, I could probably push it out, but I think for my own sanity, I will be leaving this place. All I need to do is exceed the level 40 threshold, and we're currently sitting at 37. Got a little bit of experience from the just like harvesting the things themselves. There we go, 9,000 experience we get per 100, so if we do that 5 times, I think we're definitely going to be past level 40. Interestingly enough, I can't say that word apparently, 45 is the threshold for the Farmers Guild for the early level contracts. I don't know how viable that will be, but maybe I'll give it a shot. Generally, when it comes to early game content, I tend to avoid it because it's generally not worth your time, but I guess I'll find out because I really am desperate for seeds. But there is the 45 that we needed to get inside the Farming Guild, and with the Fairy Ring access we've recently acquired, it shouldn't be too hard to get back to the Farming Guild, and 46 farming is where we will allow things to lie for now. What is that? Wait a minute. What happened? I don't know what happens to the excess fruits. I'm just going to pop those in. I don't want them to like disappear if I like leave this place, but not a bad haul. My brain is still intact. And to top it all off, we can also buy the auto weed perk, which means that any patch that I rake will never have weeds grow back ever again. We have 128 points in reserve, and I think the herb sack will be the thing I go for next, but that for some reason requires 58 herb lore to even have access to. I don't know why that's a thing. I don't know if that's because bots having access to it is a bad thing or whatever, but I feel like the people who need the herb sack the most are the people who aren't 58 herb lore. If someone could explain why that requirement exists, I'd be very curious to know. Hopefully, like, to be honest, if I, like, without any information, like, suggesting that it's necessary, I think that should just be flat out scrapped, to be honest, because speaking from my own experience, not having access to that herb sack is kind of poo, I guess. But we're actually running really low on nature runes. Considering we had over 13,000, having only 3k in reserve is a little bit scary, but now that we have exceeded 40 herb lore, in terms of my farming level at least, I'm going to move on to the Tears of Guthix quest, so we can finally slurp up some good herb lore juice. What is that sentence? Alright, apparently that quest is super short. I don't recall it being so damn short, but we will take it. Tears of Guthix is complete, 1000 crafting experience, but more importantly, access to this fantastic once per week minigame. For those unaware, if you download the TOG crowdsourcing app from the plugin hub, the icon is like a concrete bowl. What you want to do is, when you open that plugin, you can see a bunch of stream orders on the side. What you want to do is click on any world with the low ping that says GGGBBB. So for me, this week, by the way, it changes every week, It is 391. That's an Australian world with GGGBBB. I'm going to switch. Oh, I need to be 1750 total. Whatever, dude. The backup strat will be the US world, I suppose, which is 485. That is so tragic, bro. Okay, so the reason why we want this GGGBBB pattern to manifest is that it makes doing this much more predictable. I could explain it before going in, but I might just go in and explain it as we go. What you want to do is watch for the greens and then the blues. And by the greens going first, it means that the blues are definitely going to go in order afterwards. And you don't have to worry about the green. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but it basically, long story short, you don't have to worry about the greens. You just have to focus on the blues. I like to play it a little bit patient, and I guess every tier really matters right now. So commentating probably isn't the smartest thing to do, but I like to play it a bit patient. I got impatient just then, but I like to generally, when I'm not commentating, wait a game tick afterwards. So if we wait blue, there's a chance that it will respawn in the place we're currently at. And that's the main advantage, I suppose, is that when you do wait that extra game tick, blue, there's no way in hell a green one is going to spawn underneath you. And for those who've never played this before, if you slurp up the green ones, you're going to lose points, and that is an absolute no-no. Alright, coming up on the end of our run, we managed to snag 93 tiers. That is going to be my personal worst. I guarantee you that with a bit of practice, you can get much better than that. But anyway, we take the free 5,500 hurdler experience. It kind of dampens the effect of not being able to use the King's Ransom experience lamp on this skill. But this is honestly how I'm going to be training Herblore for a little while. Wanted to make sure we had this up and running so we can train it passively while we progress the account in other areas. But with that said, thank you guys for watching the video, and I will catch you in the next one. There is a lot that needs to be done.